NFL Week 12 is here. These are the starts and sits for every single matchup. We're going to go over, review the matchups, talk about the latest news and notes. NFL Week 12 is here. I know you guys got to win, so pay attention, buckle up. If you're driving, make sure you are buckled up. Drive safe, listen, and enjoy. Welcome to the show, Jim. Ready to rock?
Hey, I'm ready, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. It's going to be a good day tomorrow, man. 3 football games. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice to get a couple games on a Thursday for sure, other than just the one. And it's during the day. A lot of people off, having their turkey, enjoying them. And you know what? I think the first one's the best out of it. We're going to talk about the matchups on Thursday and all the matchups here. I like the Green Bay Detroit. I think that's going to be entertaining. San Fran Seattle should be okay. Washington Dallas, I should be okay. We'll talk about it anyway. But I'm excited to dive into this, Jim. And Thanksgiving, relax, unwind, listen to this podcast, fantasy. Let's win. Let's go over it. Before we do though, Jim. Guys, head on over right now, manscaped.com, and the code you want to use to treat yourself. Guys, holiday season's around the corner, Christmas time, it's Thanksgiving. You guys are off today. Go to the website, manscaped.com, showerline20. In my hand, I've got some underwear, got the body buffer, and they've got the brand new Lawnmower 5.0. Grab the Lawnmower 5.0. It's got a dual head. One you can shave your chest and back. The other one with your balls with the skin-safe technology. Dual head now. Amazing products, guys. Go treat yourself. They got cologne, deodorant, everything. Manscaped.com, showerline20. Go treat yourself to anything on the site. Jim, go treat yourself, man. You get a 20% discount right now. Go, showerline.
Yeah, right. And also tell your girlfriends, tell your wives, Christmas is coming up. They need to get you something. Shave that back.
Yeah, and give them a discount. Hey, hon, go to manscaped.com. Here's our code, showerline20. Go treat me, you get a discount too. So I don't know what else you need. So yeah, go right now, do that. All right, let's dive into this, Dan. Let's start off with the latest news and notes here. Let me pull up here. Here we go. There you go. You missed that old tune, eh, Jim? I used to play that in the summertime. Remember that song?
Yeah, that's right.
Remember the Deshaun Watson moan?
No, we don't need that. He's groaning right now. He just had surgery.
No, on the contrary, now he's doing more moaning because he's probably getting more massages, right? So the sound makes sense.
I think it's still a little bit too early. He just got out of surgery, so I don't know about you, but right after surgery, I'm not in the mood for love because you're just in pain. So
Did you see that video I posted on Instagram? It's so funny. It's the one with Tucker from Rush Hour. I don't know which movie it was here, but do you remember when he goes in and gets the massage with all those beautiful Asian women? And Tucker's like, "Hey man, I want this one and this one." And the meme is Deshaun Watson after getting placed on IR, and he's getting to choose one of these beautiful ladies here at the massage. You got to go see it on my Instagram. It's hilarious. It's got a lot of views too. I think we're at I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or where we're at. Yeah, 180,000 views on this video.
I got a confession to make. I've never seen the movie Rush Hour, so there you go.
Oh, you're missing out. Go watch that.
Yeah, that comedian. What's his name?
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Yeah, he kind of annoys me.
Okay.
So
he's got that voice. It's entertaining. It's an entertaining movie. You should watch it. It's fun. A little old, but fun.
Right.
All right, let's talk about latest news and notes here. Michael Thomas is out on IR. What is it now, man? This guy should just retire. He's out there throwing bricks at cars and people or whatever he's doing. And now he's out. Maybe it's karma.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, man. No, I'm not surprised at all. This dude has not been able to stay healthy since 2019.
No.
And everyone was saying, oh, he's coming. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 on this team. He never was.
Nope.
And now he's injured again. I'm not surprised at all. Fire up Chris Olave. It's going to be a good week for him with is
Jim a little happy that there's an injury? No, just happy.
Yeah. Although my teams with Chris Olave are pretty much done at this point. So, there's not a whole lot I can expect at this point. But like I said, I knew that this was in the cards for this particular player. So, yeah, not surprised.
Other things in the news here, we've got Aaron Jones, knee unlikely. And that's what I was telling you guys. You got to fade Aaron Jones. He's one of those older running backs, kind of past his prime, different quarterback. Things change. It's just I was not investing Aaron Jones stock anywhere. We warned you about this, but some people didn't listen and they followed the consensus. And now you're dealing with Aaron Jones problems, which again have happened in the past leading up to this. The writing's on the wall with certain players. You guys got to see it, but he is out with a knee unlikely to play on Thursday. So he's out.
Yeah, and frankly, I am not excited at all about maybe AJ Dillon. I would not start AJ Dillon. He has proven that he has not been able to take the reins in this backfield. He's just a backup, and at this point, I'm done with him. So
Any other news we should be aware of? I think Geno Smith is dealing with an elbow, was limited in practice, and after not participating the day before,
yeah,
so
Ken Walker not participating, Rico Dowdle not participating. DK Metcalf not participating. So these are all for Thursday night.
yeah.
For Thursday games. I'm guessing they are not going to play this week.
Yeah,
So
just be cautious, guys. If you're starting anyway, take a look at the injury report. Remember, there's 3 games on Thursday. You need to be aware. Anything else in the news we need to talk about here?
not really. That's it. That's pretty much it, I think.
Let's get to the matchups then. Without further ado, let's get to the matchups. Hold on here. All right. So we got a studio audience, everybody. Studio audience. Let's get to the matchups here. That was not a very, excited. We need a better cheer than that. We need like a stadium roar or something when we
There
start.
you go. There you go.
All right. I got to update my sound effects. All right. First matchup is Green Bay at Detroit. Jameer Gibbs, Montgomery going to be a committee, as we know. Jared Goff, slightly tougher matchup versus position. I'm starting Laporta. I don't sit Laporta. In regards to Green Bay, I mean, Watson, I think he got a touchdown last week. Those wide receivers, again, are very touchdown dependent. Love has got a good matchup based on paper. Anyone else we're missing here that we should be starting? I mean, you said Dylan you don't care for, eh?
I'm not real excited about starting anybody on Green Bay. There's no game breaker on that team. It's just a bunch of Jags, and so I would sit most all Green Bay Packers this week because you just don't. It's just so spread out. The volume, maybe Watson will get a touchdown. Maybe who's the other receiver there? Oh, I can't think of his
Dobbs.
name right now.
Dobbs.
Dobbs, yeah, maybe Dobbs will get a touchdown, but frankly, I'd rather keep all of them on my bench at this point. And then as far as Detroit goes, man, Jude, this offense is humming. I'd start everybody, man. Even though it's a tough matchup for Goff, I would start Goff. I would definitely start that backfield. Start St. Brown. You're not going to sit St. Brown. It's going to be a good game for them. I'm excited to see Detroit win on Thanksgiving. It doesn't happen that much. So
Yeah, like I said, I'm watching Detroit games, which is pretty amazing, and they are the
right.
7.5 point favorite at home. Hot team. It's going to be entertaining, and you got to understand it's prime time, so Green Bay is going to step up. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I'm going to be watching this. So again, Detroit's a team I'll be following heavily this year. I hope they go all the way, man. I have no problem with this team. I like them. No issues. Good characters on the team as well. Good players. I like Jameer Gibbs. I like Amon-Ra. They're not really like a showboaty team as some other. They're not like the Chiefs, you know what I mean? They're just like humble. They seem, the coach looks good. I just hope Gibbs gets more volume. They're using Montgomery, but I guess they got the system that's working, right?
Yeah, and Gibbs has been getting more work, which is good. That's what we want to see. So
Yep.
I've got no complaints about his usage the past couple weeks.
All right, next
Just keep it going.
Next matchup here, we got Washington at Dallas. Dallas, if you got a Dallas defense, I think you got a great matchup here. Pollard, he had a good matchup last week. Everyone's like, oh, he got a touchdown, blah, blah. I'm not really sold on Pollard being that good, man. CeeDee Lamb starting. I think Dak has got a good, let me take a look here. Dak's got a good matchup versus position. Dak's got a great matchup. He should light them right up. What do you think of this one here? Are you starting Brian Robinson? It's a tough matchup, right?
I think on Washington, McLaren and Robinson, you have to start, and then maybe Sam Howell if you're in desperate need of a quarterback this week, which you shouldn't because nobody's on bye. But I think he'll be productive. But Dallas, yeah, I think they're going to romp, and I actually got a dilemma right now because I have both Josh Allen and Dak Prescott on a team. I have to start one of them this week. I'm thinking I'm going to go Dak. I think I'm going to bench Allen. What do you think?
Dak's got a great matchup versus position.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like, I think I need to take advantage of that. It's an important Week 12 game, I think I'm going to go that way. By the way, this is the same team. Remember, we were talking about it on Monday, where I was saying, I only, I got AJ Brown playing tonight. I'm up by 44 points. I think I got this game in the bag. Well, guess what? I freaking lost.
Yeah.
AJ Brown got one catch for 9 yards. If he had gotten 2 catches, I would have won the game. I lost by like 2 points,
And I won.
and that was a very upsetting game to watch.
And I won, and I'm happy he had a bad game, but not that bad. I was okay even if he got another 10 points. I was in the clear, but he just completely crapped the bed. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and again, we're making you aware for this matchup. McLaurin and Brian Robinson do have a tough matchup versus position. So if you got better options, start. And that's why we're making you
right.
aware. Yes, you got to start them based on volume, based on them being top of the depth chart, but aware that they do have a tough matchup. All
Yeah,
right.
and I've got no problem starting Pollard this week. I think he's going to be good, and maybe he'll get another touchdown. We'll see. But it's definitely a situation where I think he's going to get utilized a lot in the second half of this game. So
All right, third matchup here, and this is going to be the 8:20 game. 7-point favorite are the 49ers on the road. Divisional matchup here. Christian McCaffrey, without a doubt. Kittle had a good game last week. Got to start him. Brock Purdy, yeah, you got to start Brock Purdy if you got him. Who else here are we considering starting here?
well,
I like
Ayuk, I think you would start, but I think the big issue is Debo, man. I mean, do you would you trust to start Debo on this game? He just hasn't done anything,
no.
and it's like Ayuk has been the more effective receiver, and I just think there's just too many targets to spread around on this team, and there's just not enough for all four of these guys.
Yeah, the
So
volume's not there. Is it Kittle in the red zone? Is it Debo maybe if Debo gets a rushing touchdown, which has been happening.
sure,
But again, it's kind of like, I don't trust Debo at all. When you look at Seattle, though, you got Charbonnet. I'm starting Charbonnet. I know it's a tough matchup, but again, if Walker sits, Charbonnet has been really stepping up. Give him the volume. We'll see how he does. It's a real shine game for Zach Charbonnet, which I said would happen because I didn't trust Walker this season, and now it's starting to actually happen now. So Charbonnet really stepping up a little later in the season, but it's going to happen. I like him a lot.
yeah, and he'll get the passing volume, so he should be fine even in a negative game script. Also because DK Metcalf is probably not going to play. I think both Lockett and JSN are guys you can start as flexes. I wouldn't expect a lot out of this offense. I mean, if Geno's out, it's really downgrades everything. But those three guys should get enough volume that you could at least put them into a flex spot and hope for a touchdown.
Now, this is weird. We got a Friday game here. Miami at the Jets, 3 p.m. Friday game. They just kind of threw this one in there. That's kind of strange, isn't it? I don't know.
Well, they've been hyping it up like crazy. I see all these ads for the Black Friday game. So
What kind of stupid game is this?
well, it's I think it's great. I think it's great they're doing a Friday football game because a lot of people have the day off, so
But
it's fine.
it's a stupid game. Miami should blow these guys out. They're on the road, Miami is, and they're a 10-point favorite at the Jets. The Jets have Zach Wilson playing. I guess this would have been good if Aaron Rodgers was playing. I think when they did the schedule, they assumed that Black Friday Aaron Rodgers versus Tua would have been something to see, but now it's not, you know?
Yeah, obviously on the Jets, you can only start Wilson and Brees. That's it. But
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Miami, I'd start everybody you could start, man. I mean, it should be a good game. That's a great offense, and they should take care of business.
what's the story with Chain? Is he done? What is his? Is
I think
he?
he's out. I think he's out again.
Yeah,
He re-injured the same
knee.
knee that was injured before. So
Just brutal, man. Monster's definitely a start. Tyreek Hill on paper has a tough matchup versus position, but you're not sitting Tyreek Hill. So yeah,
absolutely not.
there you go. That'll be, I hope the Jets put up a fight. I hope we see a Brees show in prime time. I really do. I've got him in one league and I need him to step up that week. So all right. Last week he saved me. Not saved me, but he did get that. I think it was a receiving touchdown. He's the only guy that got a touchdown last
Right.
game. That was good. I'm like, oh my God, Brees, man, I needed that. So he got it done.
And
Jacksonville.
I'm sorry. One more thing. I'd also start the Miami defense if you got that.
Oh, for sure.
So
Yeah,
I
for
think that's a
sure.
good play too.
Jacksonville at Houston here. Trevor Lawrence. Ridley does have a tougher matchup on paper versus position, so you got to be aware of this. Now, everyone's like, yeah, Ridley from last week. Is that going to continue, Jim? What are your thoughts on that? That's going to be tricky.
Oh man, I don't trust Ridley at all. I mean, again, it's going to be one of those situations where everybody had Ridley on their bench last week. He goes and scores 30 points. And so you put him into the lineup this week, he'll get like 2 catches. It's going to be that kind of a situation. Very high risk play. I'm personally wouldn't do it. And if you have a better option, play it. Otherwise, just put Ridley on the bench. Like I said, I don't trust this team. I don't trust Lawrence. And it's against a pretty good team. I think Houston's going to win this one. Houston's been fantastic.
Another thing I want to make a note here, Damian Pierce, I don't trust him. I'm not starting him. Singletary's been pretty good with the absence of Damian Pierce. I heard he's back to practice. If that's the case, he should theoretically take the starting job. But the way that Singletary's playing, I'm imagining he's going to get mixed into the, more, and Damian Pierce will be, hindered. I don't think he's going to get the volume that you think you're going to get. I think both these guys take a dip this week, including Singletary. But what do you think? Starting Singletary this week, if you got him, I mean, it's tough with Pierce coming back.
It is a tough call. I think, and I think Pierce is going to be eased in. I don't think he's just going to come back and just take over the whole backfield. So if you've got Singletary, this might be the last week that you can play him. But even so, if you have a better option, play that. But
Tank Dell is starting in all my leagues.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. How could you sit him? CJ Stroud, absolutely a start. This should be a pretty good game. It should be a close game. It is a division game, so both teams should play better than they normally do. But I think Houston's going to take care of business on this one and hand the Jacksonville another loss. So.
Yeah. By the way, everybody and their mother is now talking about Tank Dell. And the thing is, like I said, they're acting like they knew all along. Like Tank Dell was ranked 108th amongst wide receivers. He was not on anybody's radar. In fact, I even remember talking to the beat writer prior to the season. I'm like, hey, do you want to come on the show? The Texans beat writer. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. Just message me when. Nice guy, whatever. And I'm like, who do you think the wide receiver one is? Because I'm telling you right now, it's Tank Dell. He's like, no, it's Robert Woods. I'm like, you're the beat writer. And then that's when I'm like, I'm not doing an interview with beat writers anymore because they have no idea what they're talking about. They're beat writers, they're feet on the street. And you're telling me Robert Woods is the wide receiver one? How come I know more than you? And I'm not even like in the locker room. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, they lost, all beat writers lost credibility to me. And then last year I had another beat writer on my show. I won't say who. And she was terrible. Like she couldn't take a joke. It's a long story, man. These guys are just by the book, cookie cutter. They don't know anything. So
yeah, I remember last year you had the Denver guy on it. I was so hyped after that show because he was talking it up so good, and Russell Wilson was coming to town, and how great the Broncos were going to be now, and this is just
Judy's
like what
going to be
happened with
great.
Peyton Manning, and it was like the worst offensive performance we've ever seen in a football team, and anyway, yeah. We can't take anything from those guys.
They're a little biased, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Pittsburgh at Cincy. This should be entertaining. I mean, I'm surprised Pittsburgh is the 1-point favorite. Again, it's because of the quarterback, right? You don't have Burrow. You got Jake Browning coming in. So, I mean, everyone.
This game is going to be abysmal for fantasy. This is such a low scoring game. I don't see either team getting more than one touchdown in this game. The over under right now, 34.5 points. I take the under on this. I think the best play would be probably the defenses, man. I'd be excited to start the Pittsburgh defense against Cincinnati, against this Browning guy. But I would not expect much out of either team. They're just both terrible offenses. So
Warren, I trust Warren. He's been playing really well, but Matt Canada was fired, offensive coordinator for the Steelers, and that's unfortunate because Pickett's got to go. Pickett is only like he can't throw. I think there's only like one or two games he's gone with more than 2 touchdowns. Like I don't know what the exact stat was, but the guy sucks. Like Pickett is not good. I don't know what else to tell you, man. He's not good.
Yeah, he's not. And yeah, the stat was he's only had one game in his NFL career where he scored more than 1 touchdown. That's it. And so again, the ceiling on these teams are just so low right now with the loss of the quarterback on Cincinnati and just Pittsburgh overall. As far as who are you going to start? I mean, I don't want to start Deontay Johnson. I don't want to start Pickens. I don't want to start, I don't want to start Najee. Maybe we start the other guy in the backfield there for Pittsburgh, but that's like the only player that I would really want to start this week on the Pittsburgh Steelers side. And on Cincinnati, Jamar Chase and Mixon. Those are the guys I would start. Everyone else would go on the bench.
And that's only volume based. It's not like it's guaranteed that Jamar Chase is going to have a big game. It's kind of like he's got to get the volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Last week he only got 2 catches. Luckily, one of them was a touchdown. But even so, he only ended up with like 7 fantasy points. I mean, it was like an absolute nothing day until he got the touchdown. And even with the touchdown, it's not that great. So yeah, not a good situation.
All right. So in regards to this one, it's a 34.5 over under. So very low scoring game predicted here, which is understandable because these guys suck. Okay, so let's go here.
Yeah.
Let's move on here. Now imagine if the Browning comes back as quarterback, by the way, and comes in and tears it up. Then they're like, oh wow, we wasted all this money on Burrow. So it'll be interesting to see how the backup quarterback does in Cincy. Then you know,
I don't think that's going to matter.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All
Yeah.
right. Carolina at Tennessee here. We got Carolina as a
Ugh.
36.5 over under. Carolina is the dog by 3.5 point dog. Titans favorite here. Levis on paper, tougher, slightly tougher matchup versus position. I got Henry as a good matchup versus position. I got a green light there. Carolina, I don't trust their running backs. I don't trust this offense. You could consider Thielen, but other than
Yeah,
that,
Thielen's like the only guy you can really start on this team.
Thielen, Henry,
Um,
Hopkins, and that's it. Thielen, Henry, Hopkins. Maybe Levis if
yeah,
you're desperate. If you're two quarterback.
yeah. Well, Levis may or may not play. I think he didn't participate yesterday. We'll have to see how that goes. I think he'll probably play, but if he doesn't, yikes, man! This game, another, just abysmal offensive game. Not a lot of fantasy production on either of these teams, and maybe a good start for the defenses. If you need a defense and you're desperate, starting it against, starting either Tennessee or Carolina might not be a bad play. There's probably going to be a lot of turnovers and sacks. That's what I think.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, man, to see if Derrick Henry runs all over Carolina. The matchup is favorable, but I think this is the downhill for Derrick Henry. This is the last year I'd ever consider drafting him. I think he's been on a downwards grade. He's safe for some games, but I'm just not seeing the Derrick Henry from a couple years ago. Are you? Are you seeing?
Yeah, he's 30, dude. I mean, I was out on Derrick Henry from the beginning, just because of his age. But yeah, I mean, again, man, he's 30. I mean, that is not an age when running backs tend to stay productive.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The
not surprised.
downcline's coming. All right. We got the New Orleans Saints with their newly injured again, Michael Thomas versus Atlanta. Bijan, tougher matchup versus position slightly. I got Drake London, tougher matchup. Kyle Pitts, believe it or not, has a favorable matchup versus position because I think the Saints play tight ends a little bit lighter than they do receivers. So things might open up for him. Again, this is on paper, looking at statistics, analytics, algorithm wise. I think Desmond Ritter's coming back, I heard. That's going to be weird. I
Oh,
mean,
are they gonna play Ritter instead of
yeah, I heard Ritter's coming back, man.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of a mess. I think the New Orleans defense is a good play, and obviously with Jameis Winston in there, I think the Atlanta Falcons defense is a good play. There's gonna be lots of turnovers, man. You know it with Winston, but I'm excited for Olave. We already talked about that. I think Kamara's a good play. Maybe let's see here on New Orleans. Those are like the only two guys I really would start. Um, the other receivers I
Taysom
just
Hill.
don't trust with the volume. So
Taysom Hill, man, if you need a tight end, man, he could have a big game. Hill?
he could, although he's so volatile. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but he's been good the past couple of games, so he might be worth a start. But on Atlanta's side, you start the stars and you hope for the best. But I'm not really counting on much with Arthur Smith. So there you go.
I'm gonna probably see Algier and I'll be pissed off again. It's just gonna be really annoying, but it is what it is. We'll get through it. Yeah, minus 1 point favorite is Atlanta. They are at home. Oh, sorry, yeah. They're only 1 point favorite. Atlanta being at home, and where are they sitting record wise? 4-6. So this is, and they're 5-5 Saints. So this is more of a must win here for division wise. Atlanta, if not, Saints take a bit of a lead in the division. So Atlanta's really got to win this game. They really do.
Right.
It's a
But
must
I'm
win.
thinking maybe they don't want to win because they kind of do need a quarterback and they need a good draft pick to do that. So I don't know.
I don't know. We're in a season where if you just make a good run, you could make the playoffs with Ritter. I think that's why they're bringing Ritter back to just give him his last hurrah. And if he, this again, if I was a
Yeah,
coach, I'd do that.
Ritter's no good. He's not the solution. He's not the answer.
But
And so they need to get another quarterback.
they're
That's
bringing
all it
him
comes down
back.
to.
And I think the mentality is if Ritter helps us win and make the playoffs and win, then we keep him, right? But if he doesn't, then we lose anyway and we get a good, better quarterback. So I think it's like, let's just ride Ritter, see what happens. And I think that's, again, I could be wrong, but I think that's what they're thinking. Who knows? All right, next matchup here, Tampa Bay at Indy. I do like Pittman for this matchup. Taylor got to start. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, your typical suspects here. Rashad White's been pretty consistent. Mike Evans. Other than that, is there anyone else here that I'm missing? Would Cade Auden be an option here this week? Do you like him?
No, Kate Otten is always just kind of a desperation play. Again, he's just been all over the place with his usage and hasn't put together any sort of consistent run. So, like I said, I started him during that bye week when uh, one of my tight ends was on bye, and he happened to get 2 touchdowns. It was a fantastic week. But yeah, you can't start him unless you're absolutely desperate. And this week, you're not really going to be in that situation because there's no teams on bye. Um, but Tampa Bay, I got to say, Baker Mayfield's been better than advertised.
Yep.
So he's been playing pretty well. Certainly, he could be a QB2 if you need him. And on the Colts side, yeah, it's just Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, of course. That's it, man. I mean, maybe Josh Downs. I don't even know the situation on Josh Downs. I know he's been out. I don't know if he's back, but he's been pretty good when he's played. So
Yeah, if he
I
plays.
would
I haven't
consider
looked I
him
haven't looked
too.
at Downs for a while. He's been kind of quiet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think. Yeah, well, I think it's because he hasn't been playing. So
So
yeah,
Indy 2.5 point favorite here at home. 43.5 is the over under. I think Indy takes this one, but we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Minshew's got a relatively easy matchup versus position on paper. So if you got him, maybe start the chew. Start the chew. All right, we got this one. This was a tough one for Vegas to call. New England at the Giants. I mean,
uh-huh.
only not really tough. When I say like 3 point favorite is all they got Patriots at. I think that could be higher, but it is the Patriots. But listen to the over under 33.5. So they're assuming it's gonna be a
Yeah,
very low scoring game here. I've got no stock here. Saquon Barkley is the only one on both sides that I would start. If you got Patriots players, I don't care. Stevenson does have a good matchup versus position. If you got Stevenson and Zeke, that this is the week that they should be able to run all over the Giants, but I don't know if that's even going to happen. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Again, it's going to be just an abysmal fantasy game, and yeah, I think just Ramadre and Saquon are the only 2 players you can actually start on
good
these
matchup.
teams. And I think the defenses are good plays this week. So yeah, New England I think would be a great play this week.
Hmm.
Not sure I trust the Giants for anything though. So there you go.
All right, Cleveland and Denver here. I never thought I'd say this year based on what we saw last year, but I'm actually kind of excited watching Denver. I like kind of like this reemergence of Russell Wilson. I'm liking Cortland Sutton finding the pay dirt multiple times. Saved my week last, even though no, I didn't save my week, but I needed that touchdown either way. It really helped me. Cortland Sutton doing well. It's going to be I think it's going to be entertaining here, man. I mean, mind you, Watson's not in. Who do they got? They got Dorian Thompson in at quarterback. I mean, he's throwing a lot of picks. I don't trust him, but that really hurts Cleveland. Wide receiver core for sure. But if you got their starting wide receiver, you got to start him, right? Are you starting Cooper like with the backup?
I think you got to. I mean, I think if you have Cooper, you got to start him. But I don't think I would start anyone else. I'd start Ford also in the backfield.
Yeah,
But
Ford.
that's it on Cleveland's side, and the Cleveland defense. Cleveland defense has been outstanding. Again, this is another low scoring game. Not a lot of fantasy production here. On Denver's side, geez, man. I mean, Sutton has been good, but I've heard that his touchdown rate has been really elevated. Like he's getting a touchdown on 14% of his plays
Which was an
right now, which
issue
is
for him.
really, really high. So I anticipate that's going to come down. This would be a week for it to come down. So I would be very reluctant to want to start Sutton on this week. But who on Denver could you really start? Javante hasn't been good. Judy
He's
hasn't been
okay.
good. You know,
Dorian Thompson has thrown 4 touchdowns, and he has not thrown sorry, 4 interceptions, has not thrown a touchdown yet. So he's very hard to trust. When you're looking at a quarterback there for Cleveland. So that's why it's such
right.
a low scoring game here. And Javante's been good. I don't think he did well. I didn't check him last week. How did he do
Yeah, he
last?
only got like 6 points last week. That's what he's been getting like on most weeks. He's not getting any touchdowns. So he rushes for 60 yards, and that's not that great for fantasy. So
Yeah, he only
um,
had Javante 11 attempts, which is a down from the week before. Because the week before, I think they thought he had 20 some odd attempts. I'm going to double check this here. Yeah, I mean, I still start Javante 21 attempts in week 10. It went down to 11 the week after. I don't know. I guess it was just a game script. They were throwing more. Who knows, right? But either way, I still think he's a safe floor guy. I really do. You know,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start him, you can, but I'm just not thrilled with what he's been able to do this year. It's been a very disappointing year in general for him, and I think I'm kind of out on Javante going
it's a
forward.
tough
So
matchup versus position as well. So if you have Javante,
yeah,
he's playing Cleveland's rush defense. So good luck with that. I mean,
right.
it's good. I see a boring 10-point game at best. But hey, the crazier things have happened. It's fantasy. LA at Arizona here. We're talking Rams, who are, this is a weird one, -5, just half point favorite is all they are at the time of
So
this
it's almost a
recording.
pick 'em. It's almost a pick 'em on this game.
Yeah,
So
44.5 is the over under. Arizona Cardinals at home. You would think that they'd be the favorite here, but I guess they're giving it to the Rams because, they have a better record at 4-6 compared to 2-9. But that was simply because, Murray was out. He's back. James Conner's a safe start. Marquise Brown could be a boring safe start as well if you got him. And we talked about this. They just waived Henderson, so I think they're returning Kyron Williams. So Kyron Williams could have himself a good game if he comes back.
right. Yeah, and I think the real question here is what the heck's going on with the passing game for the Rams? I mean, they have
They suck.
Puka and Cup, and they have not been able to do anything. And Stafford, and all three guys are back and playing, and yet they have been extremely ineffective through the air. So can that can they get something going again? Because at the beginning of the year, Puka was tearing it up, and since Cup has come back, now they can't figure out who they want to throw the ball to. I don't know. It's just a bad situation. I'm not real feeling real good about starting anyone on the Rams besides Kieran Williams, but you kind of have to start Puka and you have to start Cup if you got him. But yeah, what the heck's going on with the Rams? They've really looked bad the past few games. And then on Arizona's side, I think Kyler Murray is a start, but I don't think you can start Hollywood Brown. Hollywood has not been playing well and has not been on the same page with him. Connor, I think, is a start, and I think that's about it. Maybe Rondale. Rondale Moore has been getting some okay volume, and is worth it as sort of a flex play. Seems to be Kyler's favorite target, so I go with that too. But that's
Greg
about it on
Dortch
those teams.
Greg Dortch, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 13
Right.
points last week. Rondale Moore had the touchdown, and Marquise Brown only 5 targets, 2 receptions for 3.2 PPR fantasy points. Just terrible. You just can't get it going. And yeah, I mean, Marquise Brown, if you got him, I hope you have a better option, honestly. All right, let's move on here to Buffalo at Philly. Should be an entertaining game here. Buffalo at Philly. I mean, Philly comes in hot off the win to the Chiefs last week, or this week actually. It was on Monday nighter, right? So it's a shorter week for them. What do you think of this one here? Obviously, Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown had a down game. We talked about it. You lost your week because of AJ Brown having a lock game. I won my week because I was playing AJ Brown that week. Just terrible. Just didn't get the ball to him. It was weird. I don't know because AJ
Yeah,
Brown's been consistent.
They kept throwing the ball to Smith, and that was very frustrating. But I think that was part of the game plan against the
Yeah.
Chiefs. I mean, AJ Brown has been so outstanding this season, and I just got to see last week is just kind of an anomaly week, and I think he should go back to a more regular usage as the team's number one receiver, over 100 yards, maybe a touchdown. That'd be nice to see. But yeah, this is like the game I'm most excited to see this week. I've got a lot of players on both these teams, and I think you want to start everybody you can. I mean, it's this should be a great game. I'm excited to see what happens here.
Just be aware, like Gabe Davis, I don't know if he was out. He didn't get any targets last week.
Yeah, Gabe Davis actually is one guy I would sit. Yeah,
They had Khalil Shakir get 4 targets. I mean, Diggs had 8 targets, 4 receptions, but only 6.7 points. It was Shakir that got the touchdown. And then they're going to Kincaid a bit. He had 7 targets. So I think it's Kincaid and Diggs kind of as your main targets, based
yeah,
on last week. So again, a lot of inconsistencies here. Again, new offensive coordinator, I believe. They fired their other guy. So there's some changes going on with the Bills. They're 6-5. They got a win here. It's a must win, especially with that division with Miami in there. Every win matters here, but they are playing Philly. It's going to be a tough matchup. What's the over under here? It's 48.5, and Eagles are 3.5 point favorite. Again, that makes sense. Philly should be at home the favorite based on this matchup. It's going to be entertaining. It's a 4:30 game. I kind of wish this was more of a primetime game, but it'll be a good game.
yeah. I'm excited to see what happens here, and I love both these teams. So I just want to see some offensive razzle dazzle on both sides, and make it happen, guys.
Some good fantasy relevance at the quarterback position for sure.
Yeah.
KC 9-point favorite here on the road, coming off a loss. So look for them to bounce back against Las Vegas. And again, Pat Mahomes is good. Rashi Rice. I'd like to see a little more volume go Rashi Rice's way. Kelsey's a start. Pacheco's a safe floor guy. I mean, Jacobs, you got to start as well. Adams, I think he got a touchdown a game or two ago. Volume is starting to go his way a little bit, but is that going to continue? We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Kansas City Chief receivers is just such a mixed bag. There's just so many targets spread around. Rashi seems to be the most effective with the targets he's been giving, but he's still not getting great volume, and that's frustrating. That they just keep just spreading around 5 targets here, 4 targets here, whatever. You can't really trust to start those players because of that. So on the Kansas City side, Pacheco, yes, Kelsey, yes, Mahomes, yes, and that's about it. That's about all I want to start. I think the Kansas City defense, good start this week against the Raiders. They should be very effective. But then on the Raiders side, just Jacobs and Adams. Those are the only 2 guys you can play until we see otherwise.
All
So
right, so yeah, in regards to this matchup here, we're taking a look here again. The Chiefs are 9.5 point favorite. They're gonna win. They wipe the floor here with these guys. Away you
yeah,
go. All right, so let's keep going here with this. We got a couple more matchups here. Make sure you guys subscribe, drop some starts and sits questions below. Let's get to Baltimore and the Chargers here. Baltimore is the 3.5 point favorite here, and Chargers on the road. I mean, man, did you see that drop by Quentin Johnson last week? Oh my God! I mean, you have the opportunity to win the game. That being said, Keenan Allen dropped a couple balls, and it just sucks that you finally get the ball, and it's like when you need to win the game and you drop the ball. I mean, terrible for Quentin Johnson. And maybe that's what they're seeing in practice. Maybe that's why they hate him so much. He's not getting the volume, right? I mean, you can't.
well,
You can't body
obviously,
catch.
man, obviously at this point, yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, I dropped Quentin Johnson a while back, so I'm not really looking at him. He just seems like one of those first round bust receivers. They happen, it happens, and LA Chargers picked the wrong guy, so that's too bad. But again, this is a tough matchup, man. Baltimore defense has just been extremely dominant, and so obviously Keenan Allen, you're going to start for the volume. Herbert, you're going to start. And is Eckler? Isn't he injured? Is he hurt?
No, I don't think he is. He just sucked last
He
week.
just sucked last week. Okay, so you start those guys, but those are the only players I would start on this team. Um, but on Baltimore's side,
Gus Edwards had a
OBJ's been getting some pretty good volume, so I would probably start OBJ. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, yes.
How about the
Um,
bus? How about Gus Edwards? 21 points last week.
Sure. Gus is getting the touchdowns. He's getting those goal line touchdowns. So yeah, absolutely, Gus. And then Zay Flowers. I don't know. I'm inclined to move Zay back to the bench until we see some more volume out of him because he's kind of faded a bit here towards the end of the season. So
Yeah, he 4 targets, 3 receptions last week, no touchdown. It was, yeah, just not getting the
yeah.
touchdown. So, yeah, it is what it is. The other guys getting some work. They're spreading the ball around. So, yeah, in regards to this one, what is the over under? Should be relatively high, 47.5. Again, yeah, I mean, it just sucks. I mean, Eckler, everyone said Eckler draft him based on last year, and sure enough, he's busted, as we said he would be. I said anyway. Like, I just didn't see him doing this again. I mean, his luck was just it ran too long anyway. I just never thought he was a good running back at all. He was never a good rusher, mind you, but got it done. The receiving game, good opportunity. I knew things would change, and sure enough, they have. So if you're an Eckler owner, damn, it sucks to be you. All right, let's move on here. The final matchup here. Monday night. Oh man, I wish this was a better game than Chicago. I mean, I don't care to see Chicago 3-8, but I mean Fields Dobbs. I don't know, man. I mean, it's a divisional. It's an NFC game. Divisional. What do you think of this game? Like, do we care Monday night? Are we watching this one?
Yeah, I'll probably watch it. I mean, I think Dobbs has been great. I love Dobbs, and I think Justin Jefferson will be back too, so that'll be good for the offense. I think Minnesota's going to wipe the floor with Chicago. So, you know, even with Fields being back, Fields is probably still a start though because of his rushing prowess. DJ Moore, you'd have to start him, and then that backfield is always tough call, but I think Foreman is the one that's getting all the
Yeah.
volume right now. So definitely start him on Chicago side. But on Minnesota side, Addison, Hawkinson, Dobbs, Jefferson, Uh, all good choices, and Madison too. So I'd start them all.
Well, one thing, Khalil Herbert got more attempts last week, 16
He did.
to
Okay.
4, but it was the touchdown that made it. Again, Foreman can get the goal line work.
Yeah,
I
and so maybe he'll get a touchdown.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
but that backfield is really tough to call because you got three guys back there, and they seem to kind of rotate volume as to who gets the most volume on any given week. So that's always a tough play for fantasy. So I just like to stay away in general.
Did you see what Jefferson said? He says he doesn't care about our fantasy teams. I told him off. Did you see my post where I yelled at Jefferson?
No, I didn't.
You should go watch that. It got a lot of views. It was a message for Jefferson. He came out and said that he doesn't care about our fantasy teams and that his health is more important than fantasy. And I called him a PUSSY, and I said that our fantasy team is more important than his health and to get a life. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I can't say I agree with that, because
Yeah.
if he gets injured again, then I mean, obviously everybody's upset because he was taken like first or second overall in almost all the drafts, and he hasn't played in over a month. And for those teams, it sucks for them.
Yeah.
And they just want him back, and it's like, dude, if he's not healthy, he's not going to be effective. So why would you want him back if he's not going to be effective?
He doesn't care. He
You know,
doesn't care. He doesn't care about your fantasy team.
yeah, he's trying to shut out all that criticism and stuff, but. I see where he's coming from. He's got to focus on number one right now, and just get healthy, get back, he'll be fine. But if he comes back too early and he hurts himself again, like Chain, look at Chain. Everyone's like, get back on the field, get back on the field. He rushed himself back onto the field, and he immediately got injured. And that's the last thing you want to have happen to any of your players on your fantasy team. It's like, if you need an extra week or two, just take it, because I'd rather have you out for the next week or two than out for the whole season. That's where my thought process is on this stuff. So,
Well, there you have it. Man, week 12. And I hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving. Go to manscaped.com, showerline20. Go treat yourself to anything on the site. Go treat yourself, guys. Go do it right now. Christmas is around the corner. And Jim, man, I hope you have a Thanksgiving, man. It's gonna be fun.
yeah, it's going to be great. Thanks so much. And good luck tomorrow, everybody, with these 3 games. Should be a great day. Get nice and fat with turkey and pass out on the couch watching some football. Good times, man. It's good times.
I'm gonna get a workout in today so I could stuff the turkey tomorrow. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Calorie deficit versus, calorie in. So you got to make sure you watch everything. All right, guys, we're out. Make sure you guys subscribe, drop your questions below. We'll talk soon. Happy Thanksgiving. We're out.
All right.